Attention educators. It is no secret that one of our main goals is to impact the lives of students and families in a positive and lasting way. Obviously, right? That's what we want to do. That's why we're in this business. This is why we do what we do. But how do we do it? One of the most critical ways we can do it is by creating curriculum that is compelling, that challenges students in a way that they want to take on the challenge, and also by creating curriculum that's engaging, that gets kids engaged both cognitively, physically, gets all areas of their minds and bodies engaged, as well as curriculum that is exemplary, something we can reuse, that can be used by other educators, and not to mention curriculum that's innovative, that's new, that's creative, that's fun, and doing all this in spite of rigid standards. Yeah, right? That's the challenge. That's what it is. So how do we do that? What do we do? This at times is, it might seem like an overwhelming task. Not might, it will. If you haven't got there already, you will. And it's quite an undertaking. Fortunately, though, there's a perfect resource just for educators like us to help educators everywhere navigate this purpose we all passionately take on. And it's called the Emergent Curriculum in the Primary Classroom. Interpreting the Reggio Emilia Approach in Schools by Carol Ann Ween. In this book, we see time and time again a vast array of examples that we ourselves right now can adapt in our own classrooms that increase learning and understanding in just this way. Authors Grant, Wiggins, and Jay McTighe put it perfectly, suggesting that too many teachers focus on the teaching and not learning, as in student learning. In this book, teachers and principals share their experiences with emergent curriculum and with creative practices that they've developed in urban primary classrooms. You can learn what they were trying to do. You can also learn in this book how they began this process and what happened during the process and the challenges that they faced and the decisions they had to make in response to those challenges, as well as the outcome of course, what happened with the students and the curriculum and the sites that these practices were based off of. Speaking of which, all the chapters, they're written by teachers who have found ways of interpreting the Reggio approach to enrich their teaching within the confines of traditional schools. The Reggio approach, it's similar to the Wiggins and McTighe's backwards design approach to education in that it focuses on the value of the student as the active learner, rather than the teacher being the most active participant in the classroom. In other words, the student leads the learning and essentially guides and directs the curriculum while the teacher facilitates said learning in the activities and tasks that they undergo. This book is essential reading for anyone wishing to understand emergent curriculum and for all who hope to nurture an enlivening and to nurture an energizing way to learn in classrooms, particularly for preschool and early elementary school classrooms. The inspiring stories presented in this book illustrate several things, one of which are ways that early childhood values and practices have been sustained and promoted in elementary schools. You get to read about it firsthand. Not only that, but the book illustrates exemplary teaching practice where children want to learn and teachers want to teach. Can you imagine that? Also, how to influence the Reggio Emilia approach, how the influence of this approach is reaching into urban public school environments with diverse populations. And that is what we're facing in the public school system across the board right now. We need to know how to respond to these diverse populations in urban public school environments. And finally, the inspiring stories presented here illustrate democratic participatory teaching that offers visions of responsible citizenship, deep understanding for children. Okay, this deep understanding is similar to the approach of the 6 facets of understanding covered in Understanding by Design by Wiggins and McTighe. All these things, applying what you learned, explaining what you learned, interpreting, perspective, seeing things from different people's point of view, which leads smoothly into empathizing, having empathy, and then self-knowledge, being able to know how you think, why you think, what happens when you make decisions you make. And this all starts in the early formative years. So if that is you, or if you have some sort of influence in primary classrooms, in preschool classrooms, do not hesitate to get your hands on this book, Emergent Curriculum in the Primary Classroom, because it will benefit you, your practice. It will impact your students. It will impact their families and the students and families around them. Thank you.